So is it okay? So is it racist if somebody call you out on your, not you, I'm saying in general. Is it racist if somebody call you out on, but the stereotype proves to be true?
I mean, there's always a little truth to some stereotypes, and every particular identity or intersection does have stereotypes as well.
So how do we differentiate when somebody is being racist or when they're just being honest about what they see? Is what I'm asking.
I think intent, right? Because I think when we talk about bias, when we talk about unconscious bias and bias that you're aware of, for an example, I may have an unconscious bias toward older people where I have a bias that I might not necessarily know that I have, but as it relates to what I'm doing with that, right? So I might vocally say, oh, old people are X, Y, and Z, or black people are X, Y, and Z. So I think it all boils down to intent and what you plan to do with that information.
But do you
we
think
all
that
have
you,
bias
say,
no matter how
do you think
identify.
that you might be assuming intent?
Well, I'll say
like, are you assuming their intent versus just asking? Are you assuming that they're intending to be racist? Or do you know that they are?
Sometimes they're just ignorant. For an example, I could give you an example. As someone who has facilitated diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings for various different organizations, I said this analogy before here, or this example before here. I had someone say that their ethnic name that they had from their family, it wasn't like a Shaniqua or nothing kind of name like that, but you know, it came from their culture.
What was the name?
Black. But they said in the meeting, well, your parents should have named you something that we all can pronounce.
What was the name?
Huh?
What was the name?
You said what, Anton?
I said, what was the name?
I can't even remember. And honestly, I can't even pronounce it myself.
Well, I'll just say this on Jeff's behalf. I think we got to remember, too, that communication is like 90% nonverbal. So maybe outside of just intent, too, it'd probably be body language, tone as well.
I don't know. I mean,
even growing up, what did y'all think was gonna happen if somebody like the anthem is fucking Not Like Us? That was the anthem of the whole fucking summer.
Not like us.
What did you think was gonna happen when you say we only want to do for us, by us, and you go over in Chicago and they're doing only inviting black businesses and like what? Exactly. You think it's gonna play out?
No, it's cool when they do it.
What y'all think is gonna happen? Like,
no, I agree.
They get tired of that shit.
I don't think black businesses should limit themselves to working with black people, but however, I will say that people, especially black businesses, started cultivating that culture because they didn't feel welcome in the general public of all other businesses. So that was a way for them to cultivate.
What other businesses do they not feel welcome? What is it? What businesses are y'all discriminated from?
Yeah.
I could not tell you, Anton, but what I can say is some of the things that I've heard, especially from black business owners who work specifically with black businesses. They feel like we can support ourselves.
Like what?
That's bullshit.
The fact that you have to have diversity, equity, and inclusion is already a sign that there is exclusion.
Like, okay, where do you exclude? Oh, no, hold on. Let's have a conversation. What are you excluded from?
I said the fact that there's already diversity, equity, and inclusion like the fact that we had to embed that into employment and things of that nature already shows that there was already exclusion in itself. So that's the start. That's years of the exclusion.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion does not even benefit black people. White women are the ones that benefit from diversity.
It's not just for black people.
Listen, don't you understand that the civil rights movement was hijacked by feminism, and then feminism was hijacked by the gay rights movement, and then when they then start to say birthright citizenship was supposed to be for African descendants of slaves. It was then diverted for immigrants. Every fucking movement that y'all are supported don't even help y'all. Like all of the things that y'all, they don't even say black people no more. They say black and brown. Don't you?
I feel like what you saying that you're kind of making the point that I'm making. What you're saying is even though we support causes that should benefit us, we don't get a benefit from it. And so with that, you're still saying that we're lacking in a way because we're still excluded from the things that we should be included in.
But what are you?
Because that's what you fight for.
We gotta do one mic.
What I'm telling you is that the initiatives that you're naming, was never created to benefit you, number one. Number two, two things can be true at the same time. The minute that you continue to still call yourself a victim, you remove your power. You take
That's
your
right.
power away from the very thing that is supposed to benefit you by saying that I am less than and I'm a victim. Nobody does that. No, the weakest ones are usually the ones that get ate. And then they take whatever it is that you think is marketed for you, and it is used against you to make you less than. And until you realize that, every single time that you call yourself marginalized, that you make yourself worse off, is literally a marketing tactic, while at the same time allowing for you to control your victimhood, then you'll never ever be in your mind or in society or in other people's eyes actually worthy of whatever it is that you think that you deserve.
So if two things can be true at once, can't all of these things happen simultaneously?
Like what?
So I agree with the point that you're making, Anton. You're not wrong, but I also think you're missing the other side of that as well. And what we're saying, there is some truth to what we're saying. There's truth to what you're saying. These things can coexist. And I think you're making it black and white, like it has to be this specific way, when we're saying, yes, what you're saying is true, but these things are also still happening. There's also bias still happening. Do people still play in the big Olympics? Yes, but then in the same token, there are people who still being excluded.
Can you give me some examples of that?
Give me an example.
And then, too, to be honest with you, discrimination and exclusion looks a little bit differently than what it did back in the day. Back in the day, you can be a little bit more blatant with a sign that says whites only. It'll look a little bit different, right? So, for an example, in a workspace, you might get I don't know the exact terminology, but you may get passed over for a promotion. And I understand you got to play the corporate games and all of that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about this specifically. Or people may see you in a workspace a specific way, or the person who had a different name may not be welcome in the space. You might not have a bathroom.
Are you suggesting that that's limited to Black people?
No, and that's the thing.
So
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is not just for Black people.
But if it happens across
you
the board,
know what's so funny to me?
What's the issue?
Hold on. You know what's so funny to me? While you say that, I watched a woman ascend to almost becoming president of the United States of America based off of her network and being an AKA and being supported by Black people just because she's Black, and she wasn't even married.
But Kamala not Black.
Wait. Please miss me with that. The fact that she's not Black. Y'all marketed her, and y'all support her, and she's a part of a Black organization. So what are you talking about? Like
the real ones know Kamala not Black and didn't support her.
Who are the real ones though? When like 90-something% of Black women voted for her. So who are the real
92%.
But Molly, do you know
92?
World?
Black people supported her in mass.
And y'all main argument was she was Black.
No, a lot of women.
We gotta do one mic, y'all. So here y'all.
You know what? Listen, y'all the most educated, y'all the most enrolled. I think y'all need to save yourselves. Y'all need to save yourselves, honestly. Like, y'all the most divisive.
They don't want to be saved. It's easier to be a victim.
Y'all only want to be Black as a collective.
Actually,
after y'all get done decentering men, y'all don't like men. Like, you
And
don't like
bullshit.
men. You don't want to rock with us until it's time for us to support y'all on some bullshit that y'all don't even like us for. Then we all Black as a collective. And it's like, pick something. Listen, I think that Black women need to pick a struggle. Just pick one and just roll with that.
Anton, what are your assumptions rooted in?
Huh?
What are your assumptions rooted in? Where are you getting this data?
What do you mean? I look at this shit every single day.
But where are you pulling this data from? Real life?
Social media.
You got something over?
What data?
Like these.
I'm outside every day.
Because you're speaking as if
I'm state to state. I do coaching calls. I interact with people. I fix marriages. I give money to the community. I'm in the practically by demographic as far as when you look at per capita, put a population. I'm in the blackest city in the United States of America.
Okay, so maybe your data is limited to your, sphere.
I'm real life. I'm listen, data could be skewed depending on whatever, like let's just say, for example, you go and take a poll or exit poll. Data could be skewed according to whatever it is that you wanted to make it, right? It could be skewed to whoever it is that you polled. It could be skewed. But the one thing that we do know is that y'all the most in debt. We know that y'all the most enrolled in school. We know that y'all the most divorced. We know that y'all still don't make as much money as men. The data, that's shared for all of us. We don't even have to question it. The census, we actually know exactly what it is that y'all making. And we also know that y'all the ones that's the most pregnant. We also know that y'all the ones that get the most divorce. And now y'all the most lesbian. And we also know, we have data to show that since we've actually instituted gay marriage, that Black lesbian women are the most likely to get divorced, above regular divorces and above men that are gay also. So if you want to like cite data, we can cite that too. But the eye test and instincts, that also plays a role. It's like watching basketball. You can do, the plus minus when a person is on the floor, but you still got to have that eye test. We know who we want the hands, who want the ball when the shot clock is going down. We know who it is that's, making the impact plays when we watching the game. We know who can't check who when you on the floor. And the fact of the matter is, y'all pick and choose to rock out with the whole black thing when it's convenient for y'all, but y'all really don't fuck with nobody but y'all. The sisterhood don't even fuck with itself. Y'all don't even fuck with
That's
yourself.
right. And I witnessed
They don't
that.
even like each other.
That's right. And y'all the first ones to bring down a Black business. And I know firsthand. The first ones. My biggest problem at my store is Black women. My only problem at my store is Black women.
That just happened.
Y'all will destroy the shit out of a Black business. I just seen a video the other day of a man in California.
Yeah, okay, I was just about to say that. They shot his thing up.
Yeah, and fucks his business up.
And
that's a Black business.
Talking about
the chef.
Yeah, they totally shit.
So y'all can miss me with that Black power bullshit. Y'all can miss me with that fucking, we need to come together as Black people and do this and support this and Black on. All that shit is bullshit that be coming out of Black women's mouth. Y'all motherfuckers will destroy the shit out of somebody's business and go home and sleep beautiful at fucking night.
And his business was in the community. His was actually in the hood. Now he has to move it out the hood.
Listen, you're talking to the wrong one. We don't even have to cite that. I've opened up restaurants personally, and I've documented on this channel. I've opened up restaurants, built it with my own two hands, put my own money into it. The first restaurant that ever opened up was in the hood, and it cost me $142,000 of my own money. And you know who the ones that actually supported it? Over 65% of white people were the ones that actually supported it. Yeah. So, like, if you asking for data, I lived it. Like in real life. That's right. I really did live it in real life. Like right there. The first thing that happened, the day that we opened, I had a Black guy steal the fucking phone. Damn. I hired all Black people and they stole from me and they walked the chicken. They wasn't even just stealing out of the register. They was taking the boxes on delivery day and moving it right out the fucking back door and putting it in their pickup truck. Whole chicken, whole catfish, whole everything. And I don't even say this type of stuff because I'm not bitter about it. You know what I'm saying? I understand the game. I understood the risk. I know what it means. I tried to create something in an environment that didn't have plexiglass up and shit like that. And that's the type of stuff that I had to deal with on a regular basis. So, I don't think, but here's the thing. I don't think that it's all Black people. And I don't think that it's all one thing. But the problem is that we can't keep blaming everybody else culturally when we have our own shit to fix within your own environment. You got to pick up the stuff off your own grass before you start moving out into other places, because no matter where you go, you still gonna take you with you. And so all I'm saying is two things can be true at the same time. I think that the woman was wrong for calling a kid out of his name. And I do think that we have more issues that we need to be concerned about, whether or not a video go viral or not. So
can I just want to ask a question to either Jess or Janae. I'm genuinely curious as to what you think that we can't do that Asians or white people can actually do. And I'm genuinely asking. I'm not trying to be hostile, but what can't we do? And what do you think we can't do? And why are we telling our babies that they can't do something?
I don't think it's a matter of what we can't do. I think when we talk about this subject, we need to take into consideration some historical pieces that have happened with that. When you think about Asian families, even African families, families from the Middle East, they already have their foundation, and oftentimes when they move here, they pretty much have a solid foundation, and they're coming here because they want to. They've been able to acquire certain things, whereas, for an example, Black folks or those who identify as Black or African American, a lot of times culturally we have been brought here against our will, so we don't have.
With all due respect,
Well, you can't ask a question and not allow me to answer it, right?
I just want to know what we can't do.
I'm gonna get to that, right? So I'm saying that we have had some things that have set us back a little bit further than some other communities. So it's not a matter of what we can't do. We just have not been placed in the right position to get to where some of these other people have gotten, right? Some people say, well, why can't Africans come out of here and get it out the mud? Well, you got to think about their foundation. We haven't had them same foundations. We don't have a whole lot of two-parent households. We don't have a whole lot of X, Y, and Z. And there's some historical pieces we need to take into consideration because of that.
What's the historical piece, Jess? Because we were our strongest in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. So what would, I mean, aside from feminism and welfare, I think that's probably the only thing that really effed us up. But we were stronger back then. So what's the historical difference?
So to answer your question, I'll say I don't think that there's anything that we can't do. I'm not saying that. That was not the point that I was making. To rebut what you just said in terms of being our strongest then, we may have been our strongest, but we were also poor. We were still coming off of, we were still dealing with civil rights. And that's when the segregation, everything was still occurring. Regardless of us being our strongest, we may have been our strongest, but we were still disadvantaged. That does not change the fact that we were disadvantaged just because we were strong. Yes, feminism fucked us up. Yes, there are other things that have came into place that have put us back further. Because again, another systemic thing that they put in place was, oh, let's dangle this and put this in their face and make them think that they'll be better off and doing better, because we've already put them in a space where they know that they're struggling. So now we give them something that we control and make them think that we're giving them a leg up. And really, we're really making them weaker. So again, you're now saying, you're kind of reiterating and proving the point that yes, they did. They continuously feed us shit to make us weaker, to put us in a position to lose.
That was something that we accepted. So are we going to take responsibility for our actions and the role that we played in that? Because we were richer in life, richer in family, richer in our own resources. We were self-sufficient. We weren't reliant on the government. Regardless of if they dangled it in our face, we were the ones that accepted it. So
we weren't self-sufficient though. That's the thing though. We think that we were because we see.
We were self-sufficient back then. We didn't depend on the government because we didn't have access to what they had. So guess what we did? We built our own.
That's true, but the government also killed off our men in the same process. They still also jailed our men in the same process. So in a lot of the issues is that regardless, we still were in a position where they continued to take from us when we built.
That was like post is what I'm saying. So if you're talking about the crime bill, that was in the late 80s, 90s. I'm not talking about
the crime bill. I'm referring to the fact that you're talking about civil rights times.
Civil rights. At that point, there was nothing hindering us at that point. If anything that came in the way, any obstacles, we were able to overcome that and we were self-sufficient. At this point in 2025, there's nothing hindering us or stopping us. So what I'm confused is like, why are we making a lane for ourselves? If we feel like we're being discriminated against, if we feel like, we aren't receiving the same treatment as somebody else, why are we begging on our knees, begging for people to hear us? If we're that offended by it, why don't we just go and do our own thing? Why don't we just make a lane for ourselves? Why don't we create the tables and chairs, set it up for ourselves? That's what I'm not understanding.
Are you suggesting segregation?
I've heard Black
they
people
don't want shit, Jerry. They just want to
Black
complain.
people don't know if they want to do their own thing. Black people don't know if they want to be with white people. Black people don't know if they want to take the money from white people and do their own thing. Black people don't know. I don't care. I'm just here. I'm living. I'm about to be 27, living my life. That's all I care about.
They just want to be a victim. It's easy. It's easy to be the victim. It's real easy, but that victim card is over with.
Are you suggesting segregation?
Black people,
Yeah.
I've heard black people suggest segregation, and my thing
Wait,
is,
why y'all
as
want
a
to be around a bunch of
community,
blacks?
yeah, like, and do we ever think maybe it's what we allow to entertain us that's holding us back? Maybe it's our entertainment. Maybe it's the celebrities that we
Mm-hmm.
champion. Maybe it's not white people. Maybe it's not the
Mm-hmm.
government, because every
Mm-hmm.
other culture has gone through stuff. They don't praise it though.
Mhm.
They will
Mm-hmm.
they'll kick out that gay person out of their family. They'll disown people that bring them dishonor. And like we champion it. We
They
praise
praised
them.
it.
We
Mhm.
make shirts for the killers and the dope
We love
dealers.
ratchet culture.
We love
Yeah,
twerking.
ratchet culture.
We taking over
Yep.
Lululemons while other people is
Stealing.
shopping with their families to twerk.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
what we allow to entertain us. It's
Doing
not
splits.
anybody's fault. It's personal accountability. And it's about is us. If we're gonna have children, don't teach them to twerk. Teach them to read and do other things with themselves. Stop letting them watch crazy stuff on TV. Stop watching crazy stuff in front of them. There's so many other things we could be doing, except blaming everybody else because it's us.